Hi, my name is Rachel and welcome to Humor in Heels. I am documenting my journey as I try out the carnivore diet. So this is week 2, or a summary of week 2 and what I have learned thus far. My first one is, the first one of the things that I learned in week 2 is that I'm kind of a moron. My girlfriends wanted to get together for dinner and they picked a sushi restaurant, and I didn't want to, like, they don't know that I'm trying the carnivore diet and I didn't want to bring it up. And I thought, oh, this is great. This is an example of like real world and seeing if you can actually do the carnivore diet in the real world and function as a human being. Because I didn't want to be that person who was like, they were really excited to get sushi. Like, I'm like, oh, let's get sushi. And I'm like, okay, number one, I don't generally like sushi all that much. And number two, shit, I'm on this diet, but I don't want to tell them, and I don't want to be the jerk that's like, they're all excited for sushi, and I say, can we go somewhere else, So I looked at the sushi restaurant's menu online, and they did offer chicken wings and sashimi, where it's just fish. And I was like, okay, well, that's enough that I'll be able to eat. And, I won't mention to them that I'm doing this carnivore diet, and we'll just go to the sushi restaurant. And those are the two things that I will eat. Dumb. So dumb. Dumb. First of all, chicken wings at a primarily sushi restaurant are like these little, just completely unsatisfying things. And they're deep fried. Of course they're deep fried. I don't know what I was thinking. And then they were also drizzled with like sugary glaze. And I ended up getting 2 orders and asked them to not do the glaze. But what was I gonna say? Also, don't deep fry them. Like, that was dumb. And then I don't like sashimi. So like I just had like the most unappetizing meal ever. Like, great company, but terrible food. And so I just, number one, next time I'm just gonna have to be the jerk that says like, actually, can we like pick somewhere that's not only sushi? And number two, wow, I was driving home and I found myself thinking about like candy and sweets and all of those things. And I didn't have that experience for the first week and a half with carnivore. And then all of a sudden I have something that's just deep fried. I had a little bit of glaze, and I had this, I don't know, even the sashimi tasted like it had like sugar in it or something, the crab. I was like, first of all, it's gotta be imitation crab from like the grocery store, like the 350 packages. And I probably paid like $20 for the damn thing at the restaurant. But that meal, like, triggered me where like all of a sudden I was really like driving home and start like thinking about like, when I get home I want to like grab chocolate. So something about that meal like triggered me. So like, lesson learned on that one too. Thankfully I didn't like jump on that impulse, but I would say that was a general failure and I won't be doing that again. But I think that's also kind of part of the process and the journey. And like, sometimes you stumble and make mistakes and you just keep going. So whatever, what are you going to do? Lesson learned. The second thing that I learned in, this week of the carnivore diet is, I thought to myself, long-term, realistically, I'll probably like lean more towards a keto diet. Especially because like living with my mom, I usually cook for us, and I'm not going to make her do this crazy carnivore diet thing, right? Like, I'm not going to impose that upon her. And if I'm cooking for both of us, wouldn't it make sense to just do keto? So I went to the library and looked at a bunch of keto recipes, and all of them were like 30-minute keto, easy cook keto, easy keto recipes. And I was rifling through them and I was like, this is an easy recipe. This is a 30-minute crock. What? It looked terrible. I was like, I'm not a stranger to food prep. Like, prior to the carnivore diet, Sunday is my day to like go grocery shopping and cook for the week. But I'm looking at these keto recipes and it's like, go find a nut on a tree, grab it, bring it home, chop it up into a bunch and turn it into bread. Like that was, oh my God, they look like way too hard. And I realized that even in just the 2 weeks that I've been on a carnivore diet, I haven't had to do like anything to prepare my meals. Like my meal prep is put spices on meat, put meat in crock pot, walk away. Like that's how I eat every day. And I've gotten used to that like that. Like who likes to sit around in the kitchen waiting for the pot to boil and the oven to preheat and the blah, that I'm used to doing. Like I'm not used to doing it anymore after only a week and a half on this thing, or 2 weeks now. So I just looked at like the keto recipe books and I was like, I'm gonna put these back. That doesn't look like fun to me. So I don't know what I don't know what I'm gonna do long term. Carnivore is just an experiment for me as I figure out if it works for me or not, but that keto recipe book was like real. Oh, thank you. Okay, third thing that I learned in week 2 is that I made my own bone broth. So basically you take bones from whatever. I had like one was from steak, some were from chicken, some were from ribs, and I just had kept them in the freezer. And then when I had a decent amount of them, I put them in the crock pot. Are you sensing a theme? I'm sensing a theme. I put them in the crock pot, put a bunch of water in it, and then, you know, had it in the slow cooker for like 15, 16 hours, something like that. So I had bone broth for the very first time in my life. Never had it before. Thought it was gross. Thought it was super gross. Didn't like it. For the first cup or even 2 cups. But I'm one of those people who, like, once I've made it, like, I'm going to eat it or drink it in this case. And after I had like 1 or 2 cups of it over the course of a day or 2, I suddenly acquired a taste for it, and I do like it. And I think that might also be because I really like my tea. So I think there's just something really comforting about something like warm, liquid tea, bone broth, spices. Like, I don't know, there's something like soothing about tea, coffee, bone broth, whatever. I don't know. Long story short, I have acquired a taste for bone broth. So I think I'll continue to make it. Because also, like, you have the bones. Go for it. I don't know. I just typed in a recipe. How do you do? I had to Google, how do you do bone broth? I don't know. I have heard of this thing, but I don't know. Anyway, long story short, for the second week of the keto diet, I met up with my girlfriends, which, by the way, I live in a small town right now, and I met them in a slightly bigger town, and I was like, small girl in the big city. I was joking with them that I was like, city living. I'm like, this is like what Sex and the City had always promised me it was going to be. It was amazing. Okay, so lesson learned, don't go to a sushi restaurant while on the carnivore diet. Duh. Number 2, God, cooking on carnivore is amazing. I can't imagine going to keto and keto recipe books at this point. That just sounds like, oh, so much work. And number 3, bone broth. Gross at first, but gave it a try and kind of like it. Oh, shoot. And my measurements. I am 3 pounds down from when I first started, but I lost those 3 pounds in the first week. So in week 2, I'm still only 3 pounds down. So I lost 3 pounds in week 1, didn't lose anything in week 2, which is fine. I was curious in week 1 when I had dropped those 3 pounds, if they were really 3 pounds, because your body fluctuates weight over the course of a day or a couple of days, right? So is it really 3 pounds, or am I just fluctuating today? But now that I have gotten that number again, I feel pretty confident that those 3 pounds are gone. And then I'm still not sure where those 3 pounds went from, because my measurements of my bust, weight, and hips are all still the same from when I started, but my jeans fit better. And so I'm like, well, then theoretically, the size of my hips and my waist should have gone down at least a little bit if my jeans are fitting better. Or maybe I'm just really bad at measuring myself consistently. Or something, I don't know. I have no idea. But I am super satiated. Like, I've heard that a lot in the carnivore, people who try the carnivore diet, is that they feel much more satiated. And I do. That's it. That's my story. Week 2 of the carnivore diet. I will get back to you when I know more in week 3. Okay, bye.